New keyword, flanking. If this unit is adjacent to only one card on your melee row, its end of turn effect is triggered twice. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. On your range row, gain 1 armor at the end of your turn. Okay, I'm guessing this is going to have something to do with soldiers or dwarves. Hopefully it's soldiers. I've been waiting for a soldiers buff for a while here. Okay, here's the changes. Neutral, Alyssa. Provision from 7 to 8. This makes sense. This is a 1 provision nerf to stuff like the Waylay deck. She was just very, very strong. And even a provision nerfed as well to like the Witch's Sabbath 3-round decks. This makes sense. Got a garrison rework. 9 to 11 provisions. Resilience. This, I always thought garrison should be a location. Why is it a special? But appears we now have that going on. Deploy, spawn, and play a base copy of Bronze Soldier from Star Next. So it's going to be an illusionist. Unless all the soldiers got reworks and there's a better target now. But yeah, you can make an illusionist with this, so that's good. Order, boost an allied soldier and all its copies by 1 and give them 1 armor. Okay, so if you're spamming a lot of soldiers, this is going to be good. Boost them all by 1 and give them 1 armor. If there's more barricade effects, I'm guessing their soldiers are getting reworked based on this. So I'm guessing we'll see that. And I think we'll see more barricade effects. But this is interesting. Definitely a interesting card. Now, they did rework some of the Scoia'tael. Well, not rework. They added Scoia'tael tags. I'm not sure which Scoia'tael cards are warriors. Or soldiers. Some of the dwarves are soldiers. You could use this there. And is Centurion Envoy a soldier? Or not Centurion Envoy. The one that gets +2 for each copy. Because this could be another way to play that. So yeah, this has several uses. I like that. Peasant Militia. So power from 2 to 4. Boost self by 1. This is Nausicaa Sergeant. So Nausicaa Sergeant's getting reworked. Yeah, they're definitely doing a soldier rework. If Nausicaa Sergeant's not going to be here anymore. I definitely think so. But this is it's a good bronze neutral now. You could use this. Bridge Troll boosts the lowest power by 4 instead of the highest. Thank you. That boosting the highest was basically a 0-point Death Wish value because something that's that tall is getting removed. Or spores or whatever. The Solano Harpies, 5 to 4. I do like this. I really like the Harpy, but at 5 it felt like you compare it to Barghest, and you're like, well, Barghest is better. If you're just looking for consumes, you compare it to Barghest, and it's so much worse when you don't trigger the Death Wish or the bonded effect. So I do like this. And Drago Warrior, consume adjacent units. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're changing it. Instead of spawning 2 drones, you gain 2 charges to spawn a drone. Gives you more control. I like that. It helps if you're gonna like fill your rows up or something. Giant Toad. So Giant Toad, I think that has. I don't think Giant Toad's super. It's very useful, but I think they were scared of making it too strong for Vi. But you don't see Vi, so maybe we'll get a buff here. 3 to 4. Consume allied units is the same. Oh, ranged row. Okay, it's not the same. So if you play it on your melee row, your Death Wish card, the Toad will not eat it. This is nice. It gives you again more control over when you want this to trigger, and more control is generally a good thing in my opinion. Lets you control when your cards are going off. Means you don't have to play awkwardly. So I like this. Hybrid. Deploying melee. If unit was destroyed during this turn, boost self by 5. This was 4 before, I believe. And deploy range, consume. I believe this is the same. It just has a +1 power here. We have the library here. We can check. We spell hybrid correctly. Yeah, it's just +1 power on this. So that's nice. Siren getting a change here. Power 3 to 4, precision 4 to 5. Okay. A new ability. So order, consume. It's nice to have order consumes. It lets you set stuff up with Death Wish. And it also has a Death Wish. So this is really good. You can decide if you want to use it as an order to consume something. You play it proactively. And if you have other units out and they kill it, it gets the Death Wish. So that's nice. Something like the Desert Banshee. You play it to get that order, and they just kill it, and you'll get any value from it. If they kill this, you get to boost the adjacent units by 2. That's less. It means it's not great as an opener because you won't get that value, but you could play it as it. And this is pretty flexible. I like this. We'll see if this helps Death Wish. Then Succubus, Adrenaline Condition from 3 to 4. You get more of them. That's nice. I do like the Succubus deck, but we'll see if it is good enough. Skellige, no changes. Alright, I think Skellige's fine. Royal Inspiration, updated card recommendations, sure. Knighthood, 10 to 9. Yeah, I tested Knighthood for a while, and it just seemed too weak at 10. You can run it in a Golden Necker deck now. I'm not sure that helps it that much, but you can do that. And Knight Errant, 3 to 2, and it gets an armor instead. I like this one. What this means is that it takes another turn for your Knight Errant to get to its shield effect, which is nice, and the grace, essentially. It gets another turn to get to the grace. So usually you play it with 2 boosted cards next to it. Now it will take 4 turns instead of 3 to get enough to trigger that grace. So that's a decent nerf there. Milva Sharpshooter, 10 to 11. You see so much guerrilla tactics just using Milva again, and she's pretty good. So this kind of makes sense. Would have liked to see something to maybe, well, I think most people would rather see something to waylay, but this is option, I guess. Nilfgaard, Imperial. Okay, we're changing Imperial formation. There's definitely a soldier rework here. Boost 2 allied units by 1 and swap their positions to give 1 to each targeted soldier. So you can swap non-soldiers. They just don't get armor. This is really nice if you're going to run like Stefan, Damien, any of the Rolocked cards. This is really nice for that. You can use an automatic way to fix it. We have 4 charges, by the way. So, the passive effect's gone. The passive armor effect for Imperial Formation is gone, it looks like. So this is how you gain armor instead. Interesting. So not everything will have armor anymore, unless you target it with these. The swapping positions makes a lot of sense with the flanking keyword, and I think you could do some interesting things with it. So it gives you a total of 8 boost over the game. It doesn't put anything top of your deck anymore, so you can't use the Afon combo. Oh, Afon's right here. Hold on a second. Afon power change from 5 to 3. Provision from 7 to 10. So he's a 10. He's a 3 for 10. And when you use your last leader charge, play this unit from your deck. Play this unit, not summon. I have to check something for a second. Where is Flying Ardanian? Yeah, this summons itself. So if you play this with... Okay, I'm not so sure about this. It has an order to boost all soldiers with armor by 1. This has a lot of potential. But here's the problem. Afon has 1 armor, and he's coming out at a 3, and he plays himself. And the order doesn't have zeal. So you have to set this up not on your last turn. Like, this can't be your last play to use your leader charge and bring this guy out, because he dies to 4 damage removal card. If you play him last, you can't use the order. However, I think it's good. We'll see. I think it's good. Depends how many soldiers you'll have, as always, but I think it'll be pretty decent. The only thing is, it comes out, it does make the opponent want to say, do I want to use my last, say they're holding Heatwave, do I Heatwave their big card, Extreme Imperial Golem, or do I Heatwave this so they can't boost it by 1? I think it's interesting, and it's good, probably, but we'll be testing this one out for sure. So I guess for Tactical Decision, then, you don't have a third card to put back on top of your deck for Snowdrop combo. Albric, revision cost from 6 to 7. Ability change when moved to top of deck, boost a random allied unit by 2 and boost self by 2. I'm not convinced by this. A move to the top of your deck, boost a random allied unit by 2 and boost self by 2. Unless he's not a mage, right? Oh, he is a mage. Okay. Okay, so this has some potential with Blightmaker. If you could just use Blightmaker, Albric instead of Mage Assassin. I think it's much worse because you want that thinning. But if you move Albric to the top of your deck, I boost self by 2 and an allied unit by 2. So you're getting 2 value for moving him to the top. You're getting the Blightmaker, and the Blightmaker is still spawning the token. So that would be 9 value. And then 2 on the Albric himself. Okay, I don't think anyone's going to do that, but it's interesting. If you move him to the top of your deck a whole bunch of times, you could do something with Hyperthin. But Hyperthin already has Tibor and Imperial Golem. This, I'm not so sure about. It has niched cases, but I think most decks won't try this. Ardal, minimum power for the... Okay, yeah, so 0 to 2 on his abilities. So you need 2 less tactics for the same results. Makes sense. Cavalry from 7 to 9. Oh, that's nice. This is a Viper buff. Viper is the deck that uses Cavalry. So this gives you 2 provisions in there, which is nice because a lot of that stuff, tech stuff used to make the Vipers is expensive. Maybe we'll finally get around to doing that again. I tried to do it last season, but it wasn't good enough. But maybe this will help. I like this change. Cavalry's a really interesting card. It just is too niche most of the time. Although double Cavalry off of the Stefan is a lot of fun. And now with the leader ability here in formation, you can make sure that Stefan doesn't get roadblocked to the other row. It's nice. Amir. Okay, so I've been waiting, before I read this, I've been waiting for soldiers to have a very high provision card like Hensel that really does something for the deck. I wonder if they're going to make it Amir. Let's take a look. Power from 7 to 4, armor from 0 to 2. So 4 with 2 armor is pretty defensive. It's pretty fine. It's worse for a Skellige, obviously, because stunning blow, but provision from 10 to 13. Okay, 13 provisions on this thing. Better have a good effect. Ability change. Play a bronze soldier or aristocrat from your hand and draw a card. Okay, this is the same. This is the same. This is the same. So we gained 3. We lost 3 power and gained 3 provisions. To change his ability from drawing a card and shuffling one back to playing a card and drawing a card. So we're paying 6 provisions, around 6 provisions. We're going to discount his armor for now, just for this calculation. We're playing like 6 provisions to have play a soldier. Now, playing a soldier or aristocrat, I really like how it synergizes with both. I think it will synergize better with the aristocrats, but this is interesting. You can't fully trigger Masquerade Ball with this. You like play Masquerade Ball, you play this, and then you play an aristocrat with the Amir, and boom, that's 2 poisons. You can kill whatever you want. They don't have time to purify. It's interesting. I think this will be better in the aristocrat stuff, but it's interesting. We'll have to see on this one. It's a lot of provisions and power lost for this effect, but the effect is good if you can put out 2 engines in one turn, if you count him as an engine. So rinse from 13 to 12. All right, so there's a very... This is good. The card doesn't deserve to be 13 provisions. However, I think this kills Equirax. Equirax rinse. Problem here is that Triss and Yen are very key to that deck, and they're 12. So you can't Equirax with the rinse anymore if you're running any 12 provision cards. So this is probably good for the card, but it feels bad because it nerfs one of our decks. Actually, a couple. I was playing in a different version that wasn't mill with the Equirax rinse too. Alright, well, sad to say. This is a good change, but I think it kills 2 of my decks, so unfortunate. Stefan, oh, are they changing Stefan? Stefan Skellen, version cost from 9 to 11, okay. Spawn and play Ace Up the Seas for every 3 tactics in your starting deck. There's no Harold Gord in this faction, so that doesn't change anything there. Wait, what is Ace Up your sleeve? Ace Up the sleeve. Special tactic doomed. Damage enemy by 2. Oh, okay. So, first of all, if you have 12 tactics, this does 8 damage. That's really good. Especially because you spread it out. But since these are all tactics, you're playing 4 tactic cards. If you have Fire Scorpion or Hefty Helga out, it's just, this is going to be insane. Like, if your Hefty Helga's out and you play this, it gets 4 charges of 2 damage. This does 2 damage 4 times. If Hefty Helga's out when you play this, it's 16. That's so much. It's interesting, though. Yeah, it's interesting. Glad to see the tactic deck getting some love, at least. Got the Ardle buff. Got the Ardle buff. And then you've got this. Huh. Seems interesting. We'll have to test it out. But I do like this. I like how they're giving... Nilfgaard had a lot of options for deck building, but most of them were weaker. So I'm glad to see that at least there's options. Like this will help out with that deck. Oh, Tibor. 13 to 15. All right, hyper thin. Here we go. That's a lot of power. That's probably your new target. Provision change. Well, it was usually your target anyway, but 15 is pretty big. Provision cost from 9 to 13. Oh, that's expensive. 4 provisions. Ability change to immunity. Well, we like to see that. At the end of turn, infuse a random enemy. Okay, so we're giving statuses with Tibor. Status damage if I want. When it enters the battlefield, the opponent draws a card. So that's the same effect with Mill, where it gives them a card each time. Just goes to their hand instead of the battlefield, which means you can't high roll and pull stuff off. You can't high roll and like pull Fukushi out of their deck with this anymore. They just have the Fukushi in their hand. Okay, I think that reduction of RNG is good for the game overall. I think most people like that. If your opponent has passed or their hand is full, damage self by 12. So you do not last say this card. You don't play it while their hand's full. Okay, so this has synergies with the aristocrat stuff and the statuses. That's interesting. And yeah, that's interesting. All right, we'll have to see if there's any more statuses among the rework soldiers, but it looks kind of like it's just going to be the gold cards, but we'll see. Tibor's interesting. Hyperthin will like this. Although the expensive thing is, the only thing is you can't play it in Nova Hyperthin because it's not a 9 anymore. Free gift, 4 to 7. Versions from 8 to 6. So it's a 7 for 6. That's good value. And it has Zeal Order, trigger the end of turn of 2 allied bronze soldiers. Okay. So no more double illusionist trigger with this. It's fine, I guess. You can make another one with the garrison. And end of turn effect. So the end of turn effect, if it's flanking, it's probably worth 2. But you can't have the flanking. The ranged flanking would give armor. So I think this is probably going to be good. It's good value on deploy. Like 7 for 6 is good. And it has this Zeal Order. So you can get maybe 2 more points off this. This is probably 9 for 6. This is probably good. All right, yeah, I like it. War Council is an artifact. 12 provisions. Location. All right, what do we have? Resilience. Look at the... So this is the same effect. Spawn and play battle preparation. So you're paying 4 provisions to add a resilience artifact that plays battle preparation to War Council. If you're already playing War Council, you like this. But if you're playing War Council because you're playing a Nova deck and you want consistency, you don't like this. Yeah, so again, another hit to Nova here. Nova Hyperthin's getting significantly worse here. But everything else, like this is an interesting card. It's probably good for soldiers. I'm not sure people play it at 12 provisions because 12 is really expensive. But we'll see. Alba Pikeman flanking. Give bleeding. So this is going to synergize with Tibor's effect here. Okay, this makes sense. So 3 power, flanking, give bleeding. So you potentially has 0 charges. Okay. At the end of your turn, gain a charge. There's 3 charges, gain 1 armor. So you could put this range to give it armor for the flanking effect, or you can put melee to get an extra one of these, if it has the flanking condition met, obviously. And then, I like this design, though. If you have 3 charges, it gains an armor instead of a charge. If you got those 3 charges, it means that now it's protected. And it's adding armor to keep it alive for when you want to use those charges. But I think you'd want to use the charges. We'll see this one. It's 3 with no armor. I don't think it has armor, but we can check. So I'll say something dumb. Yeah, it doesn't have armor. So this is so incredibly... You can't play this while Waylay's a deck. Because, yeah, I don't think you can play this while Waylay exists. Because Waylay killing this is just too bad. We'll try it. It might be good. You can always leader it to give it armor and boost. Alba Spearman. So Spearman was the +1 damage and +1 for each adjacent soldier, so it's up to 3. Damage 2 enemy units by number of stats. Oh, this is the payoff card. This is the payoff bronze. Some decks have stuff like this where the bronze is just incredible if it works, like a Messenger from the Sea Flutter. This one's not an engine, but if you have statuses set up, this can do so much. Just say you have 2 statuses on the adjacent units, like a bleeding from the pikeman you put on that unit, each unit to the side of your target, and then say they have, I don't know, a veil. Well, that's a terrible example. to ignore that. Just another status effect. So they have a poison or whatever. And Van Morelham's Servant will be really good here because you can move those statuses around. If there's just 2 statuses next to the target, that's 2 damage. And if there are 3 units on the board and the statuses are probably going to you put them on the unit in the middle of the 3, you target the 2 ones on the outside, and that does 4 damage. That's good value. And if you set this up with, say, a bunch of statuses and the servant, say you put out Infuse, you put out Bleeding, you put out Doomed, if you're playing Felipe, and they, I don't know, they shield it. That's like 4. You could do so much damage with this. This is really interesting. This is what I think of as a long round 1 card, where it's a bronze, but the bronze get an incredible amount of value if the round goes really long. I do like this. This will be fun to play with. Crossbow, so flanking. Okay, so we're changing the barricade effect to, instead of doing 1 damage when you play the soldier, just 1 at the end of the turn if you play the soldier. This is worse with Ramon, you lose a point there, but every other time, it's probably going to be... Oh no, okay, hold on a second. There is another case here, so I think this is good because you get the flanking effect. This can do more than 1 damage. It's just going to be annoying if you're wanting to remove something. You don't have a damage leader, so it doesn't matter. You're playing Imprisonment maybe, but I don't think this is going to be it. This is pretty good. I like this change. You can get the extra damage off the flanking, or you can reapply the barricade if you go with the ranged effect. Yeah, this is a pretty nice change. Light Cavalry, thankfully charge got changed. This was the deal 2 damage, and if the target had armor, deal 2 more. Never seen this card in my life played. So it's a 5 provision with flanking, and you return damage to the last unit played by your opponent by 1. So this is, I guess they're changing this to what the Pike effect kind of was. It does 1 damage, card played by your opponent. If any of you have played Elder Scrolls Legends, this is really reminiscent of Flamespear Dragon. Flamespear Dragon being my favorite card in that game, more or less. But yeah, this is interesting. This is probably decent. It's a 1 damage per turn. Flanking is 2 damage per turn. It's going to be like the old Pikeman, except it doesn't have the melee requirement and doesn't have the bondage, so it's probably just better. Yeah, I like it. Heavy Cavalry, power from 3 to 4. This is the Assimilate card no one plays, because it's a soldier. So we have no armor. It's a 4 with 5 provisions with flanking. End of your turn, gain 1 armor. Okay. Range, when you use 5 armor, move to the melee row. Barricade melee when you play a unit. This is a really cool card. I really like this one. So what you do is you put this range, and it builds up armor, and then at some point, it moves itself melee, or you can move it melee at your discretion with the leader. And then it acts like an incinerating trap. The next card they play takes damage. Combat Engineer, give 1 charge to all allied machines in hand, deck, and battlefield. I think there's only 2. I think there's Hefty Helga and Fire Scorpion, because Mangonel went from having charges to a continuous effect. I think there's just 2. There's an extra 2 damage in Helga and 2 across the 2 Fire Scorpions. By the way, imagine if this was a Northern Realms card. It shows you just the kind of power level things can have just by being in a different faction. Speaking of Northern Realms, though, if you're copying Northern Realms stuffs, like with Duchess Informers, this could be pretty nuts. All right, we'll go with this. It makes sense. If they add any more machines, they now have a really good synergistic card with it. Oh, they gotta be careful. Dareland Soldier, power from 3 to 2, provision from 2 to 4. If you control soldiers, summon all copies of this from your deck. At the start of the game, spawn a copy. Okay, this is really good. A lot of the soldier stuff you'd want to swarm the board with, right? Even these new ones, you have the Afan, you got the Garrison, and boost all your things with armor by 1. Soldiers or whatever they said. This gives you 4, so that's really nice. That being said, it's like Waylays, where you want to thin them out really fast, because you're putting the stuff into your deck's getting worse and worse, so you want to play this round 1, for sure, because there's 4 of them, you don't want to draw like 2 of them. It's interesting, though. Ducal Guard, flanking, every turn boost self by 1 if you used your leader ability this turn. This is the other Assimilate card, right? The other, like the 4-power Assimilate card? Yeah, Ducal Guard. Boost self, I want to use your leader ability this turn. This seems... You can get the flanking effect, so it's 2. I think you're really going to want to use flanking with this. Or if you save all your leader charges for a round, it might be alright. This one's interesting. I think this one might be one of the weaker ones, but it depends. If you re-enable your leader with Damien, and Damien works super well with this leader because you can move it if it gets row-locked. If they move at range, you can move it back. And then you get 8. This one's interesting. This one will take testing to figure out. Imperial Brigade is changed. Okay, so we have the Darlian Soldier is the thinning card now. Imperial Brigade is now damage all spying units on the opposite row by 1. That's interesting. If you're going, this is spying synergy. I like to see spying synergies. This one, all by 1. You'd have to have like 5 or 4 for this to be really good. It does help set up a mirror. You could play this with a mirror to damage cards and then seize. Interesting. Not so sure about this one's power level, but it supports spying, so I like it. Magni Division. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. This is impactful. So it's a 2 that plays a tactic from your hand and draws a card. This thins. This card's gonna be super good. I'm pretty sure this card's gonna be amazing. If you're running tactics, you're running this. It reminds me a lot of Siege Engineer or Siege Support, the Northern Realms when they got nerfed like 3 times. It doesn't come out of your deck on its own. It doesn't have quite the synergies. But anything that thins your deck with good tempo is strong. And especially you don't take setup. Like, you just play this and you play like... It's a soldier. You just do this and play your... I don't know. So you're running battle preparation. You just play that in this. So a 7. It costs 5. All the thing stuff costs 5. I think this is going to be really good. Especially because the tactic decks... We're talking about, like... what's the leader with tactics? And Slave... It doesn't... If you run all the tactics, you can't have stuff like Ownermancy. But this will help you thin. I like this. This is really cool. Nausicaa Brigade. Power from 3 to 1. Armor from 0 to 1. Okay. Is this... That's this, right? The boosted one? Yeah. Okay, so if your opponent won around the game, summon itself from deck to a random allied row when you play a soldier. This lets you thin really hard round 2 if you lose round 1. This type of design, if you've played Siri, not like Nova or anything, just regular Siri, you know that there's a lot of stuff you can do with effects that trigger when you lose the round. Like, you can get good value. This isn't as strong, but thinning 2 cards out of your deck's really nice. And if you won round 1 and lost round 2, this lets you set up the Afan and Garrison stuff, where you just spawn a whole bunch of soldiers so you can boost them. We'll get them, not spawn, but get them on the board at once. Interesting. I think this will be good. There's so many thinning options here. So Sergeant, 5 for vision. Your opponent won a game this round, spawn and play battle preparation. This is very, very strong. So you're playing 9. It's 9 for 5 if they've won a round. And it makes a tactic. So this goes really well in like in slave decks, and it goes well in soldier decks. This is a cool card. We'll try this one out. I'm guessing there's not that many more left. Oh, there are. We'll go a little faster. Ointment. So trigger the end of turn ability instead of healing. That's nice. It's like an extra point or 2. If it's, I imagine this trigger is flanking, so it's probably 2 extra points if you can do it right. So that's nice. And it is a tactic. I wonder if tactic soldiers will be a thing. I hope it's a thing. We'll try and make it a thing. Recruit 3 to 4. Play a bronze soldier from your deck, then shuffle self into it as an order. This is like the Thronebreaker card, the guys you can get by helping Nilfgaardians. So if it's on the board, you can play any bronze soldier from your deck and shuffle it in. It tutors out the soldiers you want. Of course, it is back into your deck for later. This, I think, is also quite good. Yeah, I think this is good. Slave Driver, 2 to 4. Damage a bronze allied unit by 1, then spawn a 1-power copy on its row. If it's a soldier, spawn and play the copy instead. So you're telling me I can make 2 more illusionists with this thing? I mean, this is really good with the new soldier stuff. And I think this is... There's so many interesting designs in these new cards, which is, I think, a lot of people will be playing it. Very excited to try it out. This seems good. Slave Hunter. No assimilate anymore. No 2 damage order. Okay, so this has the pikeman of the whatever effect that did 1 damage for the soldier next to it card. That card lost it. Now we have it here. And leave it at 1 power, responds 1 power, locked copy to the right of self. So this is a 4 provision. He's a 4 power card. That does 3 damage. That's 7. But the problem is you have so many bronzes here that you have to really think about what you want in your deck. This seems really good. Like, I don't see a downside to this. Even if you don't kill the unit, it's a 7 for 4. That's good. With 3 damage. That's really good. Slave Infantry. 5 to 4. I really like to see this. Slave Infantry deck's really fun. And saving 2 provisions on the infantries is good. Spotter. Look at 3 units in opponent's deck. Choose 1 and gain armor equal to its power. So that sets up the armor stuff. And then order, look in your deck with the armor of self. Choose 1 gain vitality equals power. This is also really good. If you get this order off and you see like Nilfgaardian Knight, this is a 12. Wow, the soldier bronzes are, some of these are kind of incredible. Wow. This is going to be something you definitely want to lock. Can't copy infusions. Okay, never mind. Celebrated Hideout has a tag. Experiment got nerfed. Feed to 3. I really would have wished they changed this to 5 provision card instead, so you can't spawn it all the time. Because the super annoying thing with failed experiment is they make it with the Eventide Plunder, and then they use Shady Flip Vendor to make Eventide Plunder make more. And it's super annoying how RNG it is that sometimes they just get 4 extras, but whatever. Well, that's all the patches, so it's basically just the soldier patch. So many interesting things to try out. Hopefully you guys learned something here. And let me know what you guys want to try out. I'm definitely going to be running a bunch of soldier decks. Hopefully we can make enslaved soldiers work. But till then, we'll see you guys next time. That'll be it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And you can check out some more videos over here. And thanks for watching.